Hello, Tech Pros, episode 156.
You gotta get out of your comfort zone. Moving from the beautiful Bay Area to China was definitely a huge challenge in every aspect, from work to lifestyle to marriage. Very difficult, but I have learned and grown a lot.
Welcome to the podcast where I chat with professionals who are getting the job done using technology 7 days a week. Each week, we start with Motivation Monday. Tuesday is about productivity. Wednesday, leadership. Thursday, technology. Friday, people and communication. Saturday, entrepreneurship. And Sunday, being unplugged. All right, let's get started. Hello, Tech Pros. This is Chad Bostic, and I'm excited to introduce our featured guest today, Spencer Liu. Happy Tuesday, Spencer.
Hi, Chad. Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Are you prepared to be productive?
I try my very best, but sometimes I do fall short. So let's go ahead and talk about it.
Let's do it. Yeah, we're all human. I'll fall short every week, it seems like. Spencer Liu comes with a 20-year track record in marketing, internet product strategy, and business development. He's worked with companies such as Sony Computer Entertainment, EA Sports, Sega, and CNET Networks before becoming a serial entrepreneur. He was a founding member of High Gear Media, acquired by Internet Brands, a network of lifestyle-focused car shopping websites, and founded his own consulting company, Go Sunday, later working with many European startups such as Expertier, Quip, and Goom Radio to fine-tune their product strategies and optimizing user experiences. In late 2011, Spencer positioned himself in the middle of the China mobile gaming industry and was a founding member of Yodo1 Games, a mobile games publishing platform focusing on bringing great Western content into the difficult-to-figure-out China gaming market. While solving different business problems which mobile developers and publishers face every day, Spencer was inspired to simultaneously kick off KTplay, the world's only in-game player community and live ops platform. So Spencer, just reading this list of all your accolades, all the things that you have done, I would just take a first guess that you are an expert at productivity and have a lot to add on this topic today.
Oh, thank you so much for your kind words. Yes.
You bet.
My career definitely has evolved quite a bit. At some point of my life, I just decided, you know what, if you life is so short, if you don't continue to try new things meaning things that you completely don't know anything about. So, for example, going from a corporate job to a consulting job, even though that seemed to be a little bit of a natural transition, but it was still very difficult, right? So you had to go out and earn a paycheck. You had to do sales. You had to do business development. You also have to produce for your clients. So in that aspect, it was something that I completely didn't know anything about. So putting yourself out of your comfort zone demands you to be a very productive person, for your business all the way around. So anyway, long story short, I think trying something new all the time and not just be complacent with where you are and what you have been doing, knowing that you have even bigger and greater potential elsewhere, first of all, gets me personally excited. And second of all, gets my juice going, right? So I'm excited about getting up in the morning or staying up late at night trying to solve problems either for myself or for my customers.
Spencer, I love that you specifically said we got to take ourselves out of our comfort zone. We got to step out of our comfort zone and putting ourselves in those situations where we're a little bit uncomfortable, we're a little bit nervous. In my case, there's a lot of anxiety in many situations. That can actually lead to a high level of productivity because we're like, all right, sucker, I got to get this done. Like I got to focus. I got to systematize. I got to really, really hustle because I don't have the expertise. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the experience. That means that I got to work like twice as hard as anybody else in order to make it happen.
Absolutely. And also in a very uncomfortable situation, the other thing is that you cannot rely on yourself, right? So during moments where you don't feel necessarily productive, how can you cling on to others who will lift you up, right? So having those, either they are business partners or your teammates or your CEOs, people who you can be very open-minded and open-hearted to talk to about your current challenges, and expect these good friends or good colleagues to come alongside of you and help you out. That's also very, very important. And that's something that someone taught me many years ago in saying that, hey, if you don't continue to be teachable, you're going to become arrogant. You're going to think you know all the answers in the world. and that will lead to, less productivity, and then you will very soon be working on your own to solve all the problems. And that's definitely not a way that you want to survive in this crazy business world.
Man, I think that's a great lesson that we can all take to heart, no matter what industry in. But a moment ago, you mentioned uncomfortableness, and speaking of being uncomfortable in certain situations, Spencer, you've gotten a lot done, but sometimes we are uncomfortable. Sometimes we are put in these positions where, although we want to be highly productive, we want to get all these things done, we want to push ourselves out of the comfort zone and really experience new things and be a consummate learner. For whatever reason, we are not productive, and we find ourselves in these situations where we're just really, really struggling. So if you don't mind, I'd like to hear your story, your personal story of a time where you were completely unproductive, and then we'll turn it around and see, what you learned from that and how you were able to become productive again.
Yeah. So I won't be very specific, but I'll give you a general idea of a fairly recent challenge.
Cool.
With our company, right? So back a few months ago, I felt the company was probably lacking focus per se, a little bit, and the team overall, the performance or the productivity of all the team members as a whole had a lot of room for improvement, right? So I sat down with the individuals, number one, to talk to the key leaders in the company, and understood points of frustrations, areas of complacency, or generally why there is a lack of sense of urgency when we are working in the crazy China mobile internet space. So I got some really good feedback, and they were, and the other thing is, in China, it's very different. China, the big boss is the big boss, right? The big boss never steps down and asks for employees' personal opinions, right? Because whatever the boss says goes, right? The boss always knows everything. So I just took on the approach and said, hey, look, let's sit down, let's have a heart-to-heart conversation. Either I take you guys out to lunch, let's have a very private conversation where you just lay it out, right? I'm your friend, I'm not your boss anymore. Just tell me everything that's on your mind, and I guarantee that you will not get fired, right? So that took a little bit of building up. So once we established that kind of rapport, then I actually sat probably 4 to 5 of my employees down, and they actually gave me a lot of criticism and a lot of constructive criticism where a couple red flags went up, and I realized that, hey, look, it's time to kind of refocus the team, kick back into action. So the productivity of the team, overall was lacking direction, first of all, and second is I had some shaping up to do in terms of my leadership skill, right? I can no longer handle the overall corporate culture on my own, right? I need to start relying on my team leaders as well. So by building a closer relationship with my team leads, and continue to receive that feedback from them in a teachable way, build that relationship, right? So now I would say our leadership committee is around 6 to 8 people big, and we meet on a regular basis, and we all have the same goal and passion, and we help each other when we feel less productive to give each other feedback and encouragement, just try to move forward, aligning ourselves with the right vision, the same vision, and the same goals.
Spencer, thank you so much for sharing that, and I really feel I really feel empathetic in this situation because, man, I think we've all been there where we're trying our best, we're trying to do the right things and lead a team, and I'm looking back on my history, on my experience, and when I first got into leadership, right, there was a lot of technical expertise that I felt that I had, and it was like, okay, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. And then came to the conclusion later, as you did, that, sometimes I don't have the answers. Sometimes I don't have the right specific things to tell the people on what to do and how to do it. I need to rely on them to come up with the best practices and then to help drive the processes. So first of all, congratulations for doing that. And second of all, you know what? We've all worked in these companies, regardless of if it's in China or the US or whatever. Some cultures in some companies just have this kind of command and control history, right? Where where you are used to The boss is the big boss. You don't ask questions. You don't speak up because there's just this fear that you're going to get whacked. You're going to get fired or you're going to get reprimanded by speaking up. And you're just supposed to, quote unquote, supposed to just sit there and take that direction. So I love the leadership approach that you took. And maybe we could have you back on like a Leadership Wednesday to talk in detail on how to implement that effectively across the team. But really just taking the team out, convincing them that, no, guys, I want to hear your feedback. I trust me, you will not get fired for telling me horrible things about my own leadership style. It's okay. We're in a safe setting. We're friends here.
Exactly. The other thing that I think is really important is that, when we look at productivity of an individual or a productivity of a team, right? I mean, we are such problem-solving people, right? We want to find out what the problem is, and we want to give a very quick pill to fix the problem, right? And a lot of the times, the problems that we see in front of us is always caused by something bigger, right? So I think besides analyzing what the problem is, we have to figure out why the problem is happening to begin with. So what I meant was, people were feeling less motivated because they were very, very busy every day working on maybe 10 different projects at the same time, but not really realizing what out of the 10 projects, what is this 1 or 1.5 or 2 projects that's really going to move the needle for themselves from a career development point of view, and also from the point of view for a company and a business expansion point of view. So the whole thing is about simplifying, right? So getting rid of the noises and focus the whole team on something that's, number one, bigger than themselves, right? So this is not just about you, this is about your team. This is not just about your team, this is about the whole division. This is not about the division, this is about the whole company. So what is it that we can do to contribute to the overall goal for the overall company that everyone in the company will benefit from, including you and I? So I think, sometimes when I get discouraged, I try to focus out of myself, right? So let's put the emotions aside. Why exactly am I doing it? Why exactly do I want to solve this specific problem in terms of productivity, right? And the third thing is, why exactly do I even care, right? I care because of my team. It's not about myself, right? I care is because my investors, my team, right? I care because we've been working on this for years and we are genuinely excited about it. So when it's not about me, it's actually easier to stop spoiling myself and actually step out of the comfort zone and just go at it one more time.
Man, I love that. And in every company, every situation, there's always a laundry list of 1,000 different things that need to happen, right? There's constantly, in any project management plan, there's this punch list of ongoing issues and new ideas and constant revisions. And sometimes you can get lost in the weeds, lost in the details of what are the priorities? Like, what is the main thing? What's the big driver that, as you said, perfectly, right, like what's going to change the needle? What's going to drive this organization, this department, this team, this individual into the next level of success, right? So let's focus on that. Let's knock it out. And then we can pick the number 2 thing on the list. And having that clear vision and that leadership from the top, from your position of saying, okay, here's the priority and here are the things that we need to be focused on. And once we can hit that, man, this is what it's going to do to the organization. This is what it's going to do to the company. This is what it's going to do to us as individuals. For me, dude, that totally inspires me in so many levels.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We at some point of time in our business, when we first started rolling out in China in early 2015, this whole in-game community management was a brand new concept. No Chinese developer back then understood the value of aggregating your fan base inside the game and being able to communicate with your players right inside your game. And we really had to do a lot of heavy lifting in terms of educating the market, and all the developers they're just scratching their heads and saying, hey, Spencer, I don't know why I would want to build a in-game community for my players, but if you build this, I would use your product. But if you build that, I would definitely use your product today, right? So we started getting all excited. Hey, look, people are telling us if we build this, they will come. If we build that, they will come even more. So we started focusing a lot of efforts on things that the market is telling us that they want, but which the market have not even thought through. So for several months of the time, we lost focus. We were chasing after the short wins, but in the same time, losing overall what is it that we're trying to do as a team? What is it that we're trying to do that's disruptive for the market? So after several months, we realized, hey, we were able to sign up many, many games because we delivered on some of the feature requests that they gave us. But at the end, we came up with a product that was not really here or there. And that's when I put my foot down and realized that, hey, we got a problem here. Let's come back as a management team. Let's really have a serious conversation about who do we want to be and what do we want to be to whom, right? So having that overall sort of a vision statement, or I mean, I don't want to call it vision statements, but just the overall company vision that's shared by a very small group of people, just kind of get everybody to kind of refocus. That really helped to kind of rejuvenate the team again and get everybody excited again.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of CEOs, a lot of sales folks who are like, you know what? Sometimes you just have to sell to the market the things that they are requesting for, and then give them the things that they need later, right? So if you're a visionary, if you have an idea of what is going to disrupt the market, of what people are really, really needing, but you're thinking 2 or 3 or 4 steps ahead of where they're currently at in their situation, sometimes it can be difficult for them to buy into that vision because they just don't understand it. Meanwhile, they're saying, hey, Spencer, I have this problem over here, or I have this opportunity over here. Can you fix it? You're like, okay, well, yeah, I can do that, but hopefully later it's going to allow me to give you the real solution, the real vision, the real product that I want to deliver to you. So in this situation, how are you able to refocus when you got all this feedback from different clients, from different gaming companies that said, you know what, these are the features that we want? How did you finally balance that between delivering the features that they're asking for and then redefining the vision statement so that everybody's clear on what the future direction of the company is going to be?
Sure. I mean, let me try to give it a go at that question. Now, in hindsight, looking back, it's easy to talk about, right? But during that hard time in early 2015, it was a very difficult and somewhat of a long struggle, right? So it's about, again, it's about, what was the original vision for the company, right? And, and these customers you are trying to lock down and lock in today, are they even the right type of people that you want on your product or on your platform, right? Is the partnership a mutually beneficial one? That by the partner joining onto your platform, they would help contribute you. They would help you to move you closer to your overall vision, and also in the same time, your product would also increase their productivity as well, right? And also the other thing is, are we just chasing after numbers, right? We have KPIs, we want to reach certain amount of active users and so on and so forth. Do we have the right metrics which we want to measure on a daily basis, or maybe they are wrong completely? So I think after those few months of struggle, we stepped back, we went through these layers of these questions. Okay, we did sign up this major game in China, right, with tens of millions of active users. Okay, number one. The customer is happy. They are using our product. Number one, is the product contributing to their bottom line, right? Is the product contributing to their productivity? If the answer is not an absolute yes, we have done something wrong. Second, are the players that are that through this game, is bringing on our platform, are these players doing what we intended them to do? To socialize, to interact, to share strategies with each other right inside the game? If the answer is not an absolute yes, then maybe we're doing something wrong, right? And the third thing is, if we continue to duplicate this kind of partnership, where will we be 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the road? What would that picture look like? And what would the product look like if we continue to replicate this kind of partnership, right? And does that picture look closer to our vision, to this kind of disruptive vision that we are trying to build? If the answer is not an absolute yes, then maybe we're doing something wrong. So these are all questions that we ask ourselves after one thing, right? After you taking a huge step back and saying, hey, look, let's get out of the weeds. Let's take a deep breath. I personally, maybe I'll take half a day off or maybe a day off. I'm going to go off and just think on my own. And let me look at the business, the company, this specific partnership from different perspectives. Right? From the perspective of players, from the perspective of developers, and myself and my investors and my employees, right? And my business development manager. So looking at, so basically wearing different hats, right? Playing different roles and asking different questions and write all these questions together and analyze it that way. Then we realize that, hey, look, even though we signed up this great game, this is not a business partner that we want to, this is not a partnership that we want to replicate again and again and again. Okay, so number one, can we gracefully graduate ourselves from this type of approach that, without hurting ourselves and without hurting this great partner that we have? Okay, second, how do we stop this practice? Moving forward, right? Third, how can we realign our vision and pull everyone back in again? So that's just some stuff that came out of my head, came out of the top of my head right now about refocusing.
That is great. So in product development, we have this terminology, this phrase called an avatar, right? Or a user story based off an avatar. And that is like the perfect example of the type of person that's going to be using this feature, the type of person that's going to be interacting with our product. And so we think in the headspace of that person. We think in the headspace of, what are they doing? How are they doing it? What are their goals? What are their objectives? And how is this technology or how's this product, how's this service going to enable them to fulfill their dreams or accomplish their goals or have fun and entertainment? But it sounds like what you did was really take a look at the avatar of your business partners, right? And say, okay, what are the customers? What are the customer avatars that we want to attract? Instead of trying to be all things for all people, what does the right type of partnership look like? What is that perfect customer relationship look like? And how do I attract those people that are going to, obviously be a partner of ours and help us achieve our goals, but also, really buy into the vision that we have and enable us to further that vision so that we can help them achieve their goals, like help me help you kind of stuff.
Exactly. It's about looking at these partners and asking yourselves, first of all, are they the right type of partners that you want? If they aren't, then can you convert them, right, into the right partnership, right? So if they are not appreciating your product for the core offerings or the core competitive advantage that you think you have right now, can you share a little more? Can you try to bring them up to speed and share your vision with them and get them to align with your vision? If they still don't come on board, then you need to question. Then basically you just need to make a decision. Do I need to stick with the vision that we have, or do we start morphing into something else that we didn't necessarily intend to become? So it's just a constant, Q&A inside your head, which could potentially drive yourself nuts, right? But it's a necessary thing to do once a while, especially once maybe every month. I take some time, I step back and I say, hey, look, if I just kind of dream about some crazy scenarios, right? If today I am starting from zero again, right? If today I'm starting from zero again, what would I do differently, right? Today, if I don't have any of the teams that I have today, what kind of people do I want to bring on board? If today I can allow myself dream not based on the stuff that I think I'm already bound to, but stuff that I can just dream about, that I think I can build, that I can contribute to our partners or to the gamers or to the society, right? What would I do, right? And once in a while, I get something that gets me pretty excited. And that's when I present those new ideas to the team, and then we discuss it. Then we decide if we want to take a stab at either a new direction or a new feature. And so a lot of crazy Q&A that goes on in my head.
Well, speaking of going on in your head, in my head, I am actually in my head looking out over our audience, and I can see a lot of hands being thrown up going, Chad, Spencer, this productivity stuff, okay, that's great, but I want to hear about the video games. I want to hear about the features that Spencer is actually putting together to allow this community in video games to occur. Can we hear more about that? And yes, we can. But first, let's take a quick break and thank our sponsors. This episode of Hello Tech Pros is sponsored by Hello Tech Pros. Want to be a guest on the show? Chad Bostic here, and I'm helping professionals who work with technology build a personal brand and get connected to an audience of thousands of technologists, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and investors. Download my cheat sheet of interview questions and apply to be a guest today by texting HELLO PODCAST to 44222 or visit hellotechpros.com/guest. Once again, text HELLO PODCAST with no space in the middle to 44222 or visit hellotechpros.com/guest. Are you new to podcasting? Are you looking for a fast, high-quality, yet budget-friendly podcast production team? Let TransSource Media take care of you. With a team of professional audio and video editors, writers, and graphic artists, they can help you build your podcast from planning, post-production, and platform submission. Using only cutting-edge software and studio equipment, they're here to make each and every show sound at its best. To get a free quote, please visit www.transsourcemedia.com or send them an email at marketing@transsourcemedia.com or call them at 209-505-5693. TransSource Media, transforming businesses through the power of multimedia. Okay, we're back with Spencer Liu. Spencer is a 20-year veteran in the marketing, internet product strategy, business development space, has a lot of experience in video game development. And he recently started his own company called KTplay, the world's only in-game player community and live ops platform. We've been talking to Spencer about, productivity sometimes in a team is because the team has lost sight of the vision of why we are here. What is the important things that we're working on? Sometimes when we're, bootstrapping our company, we're trying to get things off the ground. It's just, man, it's a struggle to get any customers, let alone the right customers. So it's just like, okay, you got some money, you got some ideas, you can further our vision. Let's get on board and start working on this. But working on that, every customer that you onboard results in a lot of new features, a lot of new requests, a lot of new activities that are going on in your business that may or may not be perfectly 100% aligned to the vision that you had when you started the company. And so Spencer shared with us the story of how he really had to, first of all, take a step back and look at the situation and say, you know what, things are good, but they're not great. They could be a lot better. And I need to have a conversation with my employees, first of all, and say, Let's get real. Let's put it all out on the table. And I know in this culture you're not used to the boss asking for feedback, but trust me, I will not reprimand you. I want to hear honest feedback. And through that, he was able to get some really clarifying feedback about what the team is struggling with and about his own leadership style, and was able to turn things around and really, really redefine the vision for the company and get that really clear with himself and his stakeholders and his employees and his customers, so that he was able to further the vision of this company and build new things and big things. So Spencer, we've teased about it a lot, but we haven't really talked about the specifics of what your company is doing to the video game market. So tell us all about it.
Great. I appreciate the opportunity. So KTplay started as sort of a research and development product inside my original company called Yodo1. So Yodo1 started as a games publishing company, bringing great Western gaming content into the China market. So we founded Yodo1 in late 2011, and as we started to publish multiple games titles, we had a few business problems that we wanted to solve. The first thing is, every time we launch a new game, we have to do a lot of business development, invest a lot of money into marketing the game, bring it to the top of the charts, and so on, so forth. And as one game declines and reaches the end of its life expectancy, that we launch a brand new game, then we gotta duplicate the effort again, do business development, invest in marketing. So the first business problem that we were trying to do is, hey, look, we already got millions of users in this one game. Can we just easily migrate them from one game to another? So that's the first problem that we were trying to solve from a games publishing point of view. And the second thing that we were trying to do is, we were focused back then mostly on casual games, single-player casual games, right? So these players, because the games are not connected, these games are just playing alone. So think about Angry Birds many, many years ago when I started playing Angry Birds. I remember a friend of mine told me, you got to download this game. It's so cool. So I started playing it. My wife and I were on our, I believe it was back then, iPhone 4. And both of us, we were stuck at level 23. And then we couldn't get through. So I called on my friend and say, how do you get through level 23? She was trying to describe to me how to get through it, but I couldn't figure it out through the phone conversation. Mm-hmm. So I had to drop my phone. I had to go onto Google. I had to search for YouTube tips. Then I had to write down tips, and I got to pick up my phone again. I was just scratching my head. It's like, why wouldn't Rovio just give me a community right inside the game so I can just send out a question and people can send me answers and send me strategies, right? Even if I want to spend money, what weapons do I upgrade? What superpower do I buy, right? I mean, can somebody give me a tip? So from a publisher, from a developer's point of view, why would you allow your users to put down your game and leave your game and look for answers and expect them not to get distracted and come back and reactivate the game? So we were trying to solve the business problem in terms of user migration. We were also trying to solve the pain points for the players, trying to give them a community where they can socialize with each other, ask questions, share strategies, brag about their achievements. So we were just kicking around ideas, can these two things merge together, right? Then we realized, hey, look, if we provide a in-game social platform, an in-game community, right, where these people become friends through interactions, within the community inside the specific game, generating great user-generated content, get to know each other a little bit. When it's time to migrate them, we're not just migrating one user at a time anymore. We're actually migrating the entire community from one game to another. So that's when we started to prototype, and then later on, KTplay was spun off from Yodo1, so we became an independently operated company since mid-2014. So the value proposition to the games developers and the publishers are very simple. Everyone knows, right? You have spent so much energy and finance into building a game. You have spent even more money on promoting and marketing the game, right? Now you have thousands, if not millions, of users inside your game. You need to talk to them. You need to manage your community. There are enthusiasts or fans surrounding your IP or surrounding your game, right? Right now, when you ask the game developers, where do you manage? Where do you even build a community, right? They say, it's very simple. We do it on Facebook. And I said, what do you guys do on Facebook? Well, we launch news about the game, then we launch about the in-game events on Facebook. But my question is, why are you doing it outside your game? Where are your most loyal, active, engaged users? Are they on Facebook? And they all shake their heads and say, no, because Facebook is the only thing that we've got. And I said, well, where are your most active players? They all say, well, they are right inside the game. Great. That's where we should start. Building an in-game player community should happen inside the game, not outside the game. Again, I'm not trying to say I will replace Facebook. I would never say that, right? Because I'm simply saying if you want to build a very active player community, it needs to happen inside the game. And once you have the ability to aggregate all of them in a community inside your game, you can send them out to Facebook, to Twitter, to your official website, so on and so forth. But you need to be productive and reach your audience with the least amount of friction there can be. And that's inside your game.
Man, that sounds so fun, because I'm thinking about back in my history. I'm not going to pick on a mobile game. I'm actually going to take it back a couple of decades of the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and playing Zelda for the first time blew my mind of the capabilities of this game. But you know what? There were secrets that I could not figure out, that I could not master, and I knew my friends were past the level that I was, or they found this secret door. And so every day I would go into school and I'd be like, okay, where's that secret door? They're like, okay, go to screen 4 and then go to the left 8 times and then go down and then use your candle and burn the tree that's on the top. And so I'm running all over the place. I got my candle out and I'm torching everything trying to figure it out. And it's just, if you don't see it, if you don't know, then it's hard, right? But if you have that community right there playing with you, so now fast forward a little bit, a few years on the console space, and then there's Xbox Live and there's PlayStation Network, and now my friends can actually log on with me and we can play through games together, right? And they can show me, here's the secret, here's the thing that you do, and we can play together. And just that community aspect of chatting and meeting new people and talking to people is just so much more compelling and engaging when you have friends around, as opposed to just playing one-offs by yourself.
Correct. I mean, I personally count that, right? So think about you were on Nintendo, you were going to your school, asking your friends, right? Probably wrote down some notes and came back and tried again. That whole interaction in the schoolyard with your friends, I personally include that as a part of the gaming experience, right? But it's just back then we didn't have a way to do it inside the game. We had to do it when we saw our friends, right? But now, we have these smartphone devices. Everything should be happening right inside the game. You should be able to find friends. You should be able to find tactics and strategies. You should be able to see who's asking what questions and be able to help these people and make instant connections right inside the game in the context of the game, right? So I personally believe that user-to-user interaction is definitely a part of the gaming experience as well. So I would encourage games developers to think outside the box, right? So not just to think about designing games, designing designing features, figuring out the balance inside the game. Think about the user needs when they are playing the game, right? They are definitely looking for other people to play with, right? And it should be happening right inside the game.
Awesome. Great stuff. Spencer, before we go for this episode, do you mind sharing any parting words of wisdom that you have for our audience? The best way that we can connect with you, and then we'll say goodbye.
Yes. Right, absolutely. Our official website, KTplay.com, or I don't even mind throwing out my personal email or my work email, SpencerLiu, Liu at KTplay.com. I'd love to hear from all of you, and thank you very much, Chad, for the opportunity.
Sure. Any final words of wisdom for the audience?
You gotta get out of your comfort zone. Moving from the beautiful Bay Area to China was definitely a huge challenge in every aspect, from work to lifestyle to marriage. Very difficult, but I have learned and grown a lot just because I decided, I'm going to stretch myself that much more, one more time. And it's been extremely fulfilling, not only in terms of building products and business, but also personal growth in every aspect as well. So I'd encourage everyone to do that.
Well, Spencer, I have learned and grown a lot just from having this conversation with you. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy Tuesday, very productive Tuesday, to spend time with us.
Thank you so much, Jack. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
You bet. Tech Pros, if you're in this position where you feel like you're struggling because things aren't turning out the way that you had planned, like in your freelance business or in your company, because what you thought the work was going to be ended up being something completely different once you got paying customers. Take a look at the customers. It's great, man. It's awesome that you've got money coming in. It's awesome that you've got revenue coming in. It's awesome that you've got partners now. But is it the right partnerships? Is it the right customers? Have you kind of diluted your vision because you are, just chasing that money or just chasing the next potential deal? Take a step back. Take this lesson from Spencer here. Take a step back and really look at the vision that you had intended to have, or the vision that you currently have for your product, for your company, for your lifestyle, and just reassess, do I have the right partnerships, or should I look at redefining those? And then have a honest conversation with yourself and your employees about their ideas on how to make it better. You've been listening to Spencer Liu, and I'm Chad Bostic. And until next time, take care. The show notes page for this episode can be found at hellotechpros.com/156. Do you use Slack for team communication? Join the Hello Tech Pros Slack channel at hellotechpros.com/Slack. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review, subscribe to this channel, and check back tomorrow. This has been Productivity Tuesday, but tomorrow my featured guest and I are talking about leadership. Thursday, technology. Friday, people and communication. Saturday, entrepreneurship. Sunday, being unplugged. Monday, motivation. And then we do it all over again next Tuesday for productivity. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.